we are very pleased to be joined by Adam Carolla. He's a New York Times best-selling author. He's a comedian. He's an actor. He's a television guy. You see him on TV. He's also host of one of the most wildly successful podcasts out there. Adam, welcome to Mornings on the Mall.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Now, just want to say right off the bat, you're here to sign some books because you got a book out called President Me. We'll get into that in just a moment. You got a book signing at noon today over at DuPont Circle at the Books A Million. And then there's a mangria signing.
Yeah, baby.
Tell me about that.
I invented mangria in my kitchen out of desperation and alcoholism just a few years ago.
The two often go hand in hand, desperation and alcoholism.
I think they're, close brothers. I was, it wasn't one of these things where, it's not like P. Diddy where somebody came up with some booze and then asked me to put my name on it. I was in my kitchen on a Friday night. You guys know what I'm talking about, where you've made the metamorphosis into the bathrobe and the slippers. You don't want to go out again. You're in. And you pour that red wine, and there's just a splash at the bottom of the bottle because red wine bottles, the red wine bottles, sometimes you can't see through them.
That's right.
They're thick. Some are thicker gauge glass than others, and then others have that navel that goes up 4 inches.
That's right.
You can never tell how much was left from the night before.
I know.
And you dump it, and there's a hummingbird's beak worth of booze left in this bottle, and you think, well, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not going to get dressed and go to the liquor store. But I do have some vodka. So I mixed some vodka in with the red wine.
Yeah.
And then I realized I'd ruined the vodka and the red wine by mixing them together. Now I was screwed, but I didn't want to get out of my bathrobe, so I dumped some orange and some ice in, and I stirred it up, and I mixed it around.
And it became
mangria.
And
I yelled Excelsior.
So in this case, laziness and alcoholism were the mother of invention. And
that intersection is where I live.
Well, the mangria signing's at Total Wine and More in McLean, Virginia, at 3:30 today. If you want to go out there and tip a few with that, will you actually be drinking as you sign, or?
I do. Yeah. I mean, if they allow it. I mean, the different rules in different places.
Sometimes they got
sometimes
open.
they'll give a tasting, and sometimes they won't. But usually they'll let you taste it.
Now, this book, President Me, talk about the premise for this book.
I wanted. Oh no, I shouldn't say I wanted. I was approached and paid to write a book, which is how they do it. Everyone says, "Oh, what made you decide to do Dancing with the Stars?" Or what made? They came to me and offered me money. That's the answer. Celebrities always give the what motivated me to start my own or to do my own. Somebody came, offered money. I said, fine. I wanted to write a comedy book that was just pure comedy. And the last book I wrote was sort of autobiographical. But I realized that if you take a topic, when you're trying to do comedy, if you say it's only going to be about plate tectonics or the Armenian genocide, it's going to limit your ability.
Kind of a narrow field.
Not a lot of comedic opportunities in there.
Not only that, but even if there are, they're few and far between. Yeah, it's very narrow. But if you go President Me, then you get to just go, hey, if I was in charge, this is what we do.
How it would be.
Yeah, but you can say that about, I'd outlaw passion fruit iced tea. You can say whatever you like, and that's nice because then anything that's funny that comes out of your mouth will fall into one heading or another.
Right.
And that's why I decided to give it a nice big broad
So
stroke.
what would America look like if you were president?
It's more like what they would act like. There's a bunch of stuff in there that things like I address health care, and I talk about skyrocketing health care and the cost of all the equipment in the critical care wards and all that stuff. And I just said, and then everyone's like, well, who's going to pay for that? How are we going to pay for this? I said, I would make it all coin operated. All that stuff, the ventilators, all the machines, everything in there, and then we'd find out just how much your loved ones really did love you, But it would also take care of itself because who would want to return to a world where nobody love them enough to put a few nickels in one of these things. And I took Obama's hope and change, and I just put a little of my own flavor on it. And it's you better hope they have change.
Loose change in this case. Adam Carolla's Darwinism in effect there in the healthcare system if he were president. The book is called President Me. We just did a half an hour on this topic, this mayor of Porterville, California, talking about bullying, and people are still holding on the line to talk about it. I wonder if this guy would be in an Adam Carolla cabinet. Listen to this.
I'm against bullying, but I'm getting tired of it being used as a mantra for everything, and it ills the world when all most people have to do is grow a pair.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about bullying. What do you think of this craze? Everyone's worried about bullying.
First off, my son, a year ago, he's 7 now, but when he was in the first grade, came home, explained to me that he was bullied today at school. And I said, how is it that you were bullied? And he said he was telling a story, and the kid he was telling the story to put his fingers in his own ears. And I said, are bullying or boring? Like maybe just boring the kid. I know everyone around me wants to start in on that. When I started on one of my stories, that's not bullying. I had to explain. So this notion, it's a slippery slope, because if we explain to everyone that you're being bullied, then we're explaining to everyone that they're a victim. Then once we convince successfully, and I don't know why it has become the work of everyone on the left in America to convince every group that they're being victimized or bullied, or that they're not on an even playing field, or the deck is stacked against them. That's all the motivation you need not to leave the house. Yeah. It really is. Right. So basically what we've done is we've gone, look, if you're a woman, if you're a minority, if you're in any group, then the deck is stacked against you. If you're anyone else who's not a minority, not a female, and not in a group, well, then you're just being bullied.
You're the ones who are stacking the deck also, if you're not one of those
right. So yeah. I don't know what good it does. Everybody was bullied to some way, extent or another, some form. Fine. Get on with it. It makes you tougher. The reason you have calluses on your fingers and your feet is because they're exposed to things. You got to build up a little bit. The reason the skin is so soft on your bellies because it never touches anything. You need that callus built up. You need a little resistance. It's fine.
I don't know why you look at me when you say that whole soft belly thing, but I appreciate that a lot.
Soft underbelly.
If the belly fits, wear it.
Adam Carolla is our guest in studio, and people are calling in. We can take calls if you'd like here, 888-630-9625. Really quickly, Adam, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned Dancing with the Stars. You did that one famously, that reality show, but you also did Celebrity Apprentice, which I found very entertaining. You were on with Clay Aiken, weren't you?
He bullied me. I don't want to talk about it.
It's okay. It gets better, yes. Adam. He's running for Congress. Now, you got to work with Clay Aiken. What do you think of him as a congressman?
I got to tell you, that guy's work ethic was second to none. Like, when you do one of those shows, you find out real fast who the lazy people are and who the hard workers are. I found him, I consider him a friend. I thought he was super motivated, super hardworking, and I would love that guy to run a business of mine. Now, I don't know all of his politics, but I'll tell you, just being in proximity with the guy, like in the war room, hardworking, bright, and could probably do whatever he wanted to do in life.
And really quick follow-up, would you do that show again? They just did a Celebrities All-Stars. Would you go back and do it?
No, it's too big a pain in the ass, and the cable in the Trump Tower sucks. So it's really about the TV.
Come on, Donald Trump. Get a better
That's what I
cable.
said,
That's
yeah.
sad. Yeah, all right. Cool.
Well, listen, we're going to have more with Adam Carolla here in just a moment, and I want to ask you about this platform that you have. If you were to be the president, and that's the premise of your book, you have something called the Anti-narcissism platform. I want to ask you about that when we come back. 8:17 on WMAL, where Washington comes to talk. We are very happy to be joined in studio for the first half hour of the 8 o'clock hour by Adam Carolla. He's a best-selling author, a comedian, an actor, television, and wildly successful podcast host. He's got a book out called President Me. If you want to meet Adam, you can meet him today at the Books A Million DuPont Circle, 12 noon. He's signing books there. But in this book, President Me, you lay out, Adam, your platform. You say that you would run for president on an anti-narcissism platform. Talk about that.
I just think we're going insane. It's every man and woman and then in between, because now we have a few different species and genders in there, for themselves. I'm tired of seeing dogs where dogs aren't supposed to be. They're on airplanes. You go out to a cafe, they have them sitting on the chair next to you. I see people kicking their shoes off and putting their bare feet up everywhere. You can just go no further than the airport to see people shoes off, shirt off. I saw a guy with his shirt was off. He was doing yoga in the middle of the terminal. This the kind of stuff that you would do in your living room, and that's when your roommate or your wife or your husband wasn't even home, is now just being done out in broad daylight. It's weird, but the only thing you can't do is smoke. Everything else, right? It's game on for everything else. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Like I said, I'm from California. There's no dogs allowed in the parks. There's no dogs allowed on the beach. No dogs on the beach, but on the airplane, no problemo. In the restaurant, no problem. At the supermarket, no problem. Just no dogs at the beach.
Something wrong
about
that,
right?
You understand, of course, that while you were doing this program, Larry's not wearing any shoes.
I'm more, but I'm not in an airport.
He's in his socks.
Exactly. I'm in my socks, and I'm in studio. Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
Thanks for pulling the curtain back on that one.
Yeah.
Adam Carolla, you've been a target right now of a lawsuit, a malicious lawsuit. You refer to them as the patent trolls, and these are people who go out there, they buy a patent that's already existing, and they try to apply it and extort basically somebody through our legal system like you, and you're the target of this. This is a patent having to do with how podcasts are categorized and listed, correct?
Correct.
What's going on with this, and are you getting any action from our legal system?
I'm paying them a lot. I am going to go talk to a couple of folks from Congress, I think, a little bit later on today. Not them, but whoever their seconds and thirds and probably fifths and sixths are. No, it's kind of a loophole thing. We're sort of behind the curve when it comes to things on the internet and almost all things computers. Obviously our founding fathers didn't count on tablets, or when they had tablets, they're made of stone. They didn't actually, iPods and tablets and personal computers. So we're trying to catch up to a technology, and there's entrepreneurs that are out there. When I say entrepreneurs, I mean lawyers who are figuring out a way to make a buck, and they buy up these patents, they sue companies, and they make a lot of money off them. They're not using their technology. They're using their technology as a tool to sue businesses, and I'm one of them, and it's going to end. The question is am I going to be out of money before it ends?
Well, and you're also, just to be clear, you are the most popular podcast, so they're targeting you because you're the top dog. But when you fall, they'll go after everybody. If you want to help with this fight and help Adam in his fight, you're crowdsourcing this, right?
Yeah, you can go to, it's over $1 million to beat these guys in court, and we will win, and then we'll strike a blow for everyone who's podcasting. But if you go to fundanything.com, you can contribute to the legal campaign.
All right, well, more with Adam Carolla in just a moment. It's 8:21. It's 8:24 on WMAL. We are joined by Adam Carolla. He's a best-selling author. He's a guy who is a comedian, an actor, and he's got this wildly successful podcast. We're honored to have him in studio today.
So all of the things that we're hearing you say, it's not what you usually hear from somebody in the entertainment business in Hollywood. You live in L.A., you've got a TV show, you're friends with Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, you guys go way back from days in radio. I hear Sarah Silverman on your show. I hear a lot of Hollywood actors. Do you get any pushback because you don't sort of toe the typical Hollywood liberal line?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's trying to turn everybody, everyone's trying to turn everyone on the right into a monster, and Hollywood is, pretty squarely on the left. So, it's this kind of thing where if you say, I think people should present a valid ID when they vote. Oh, so you're for voter suppression,
Therefore, a racist. Yeah.
Yeah, or if you go, look, parents ought to make their own kids breakfast. Oh, okay, so you're anti-children, and all this nonsense. It's a spurious, weird battle that they try to undertake to try to take people that are really just for the kinds of qualities that this country had 50 years ago, where, look, you have kids, you take care of your own kids, you educate your kids, you keep your family intact, you focus on them, you focus on education, you focus on family. and they try to turn that into something negative, where you're anti this or you're anti that, and it's totally insane. I don't buy it. I don't care. It probably doesn't win me any friends or make me very popular, but it doesn't matter. I have my own pirate ship, so I don't care.
Yes, I know you don't, and thank God for it. Listen, if you like what you're hearing from Adam Carolla, you're going to like his book. It's President Me. It's out now, and you can actually meet him today and get it signed at Books A Million at DuPont Circle. That's today at noon. And, of course, mangria. Drink some. I mean, it's wine, it's vodka, it's fruit. What more do you want?
21% alcohol.
How much? What percent?
21%.
There you go.
All right. Well, have a go out to Total Wine and More in McLean to get your mangria and bring a designated driver.
It's good to have you here, Adam. Thanks a lot for joining us.